Hello, everybody, and welcome to Savvy Women of Social Media. I am your host, Michelle Arbori, and today's guest in our Savvy Women of Social Media series is Valarie Angle. And Valarie is a former education administrator turned wellness liaison for the Roanoke Valley. After over 20 years in relationship roles in public schools, private schools, and higher education, Valarie found her new calling to be connecting integrative medicine practitioners with the community. Last year, Valarie and her partner, Jonathan Roberts, began laying out the framework for what will become the Wellnest Roanoke, a multi-purpose gathering space in downtown Roanoke, including a healthcare cafe, a wellness mercantile, on-site integrative wellness services, a yoga studio, a meditation room, and a variety of seminars, workshops, corporate training events, and entertainment. Oh my God, you want to open this in Rochester? This is wonderful. Valarie's strength of connecting with people on an authentic and practical level has enabled her to meet dozens of doctors, teachers, and healers who have been working in solitude in the area. By uniting as a collaborative wellness community, the team empowers one another through cross-marketing, personal development, and uplifting each other, all while serving the greater Roanoke community. Valarie plays the role of facilitator and liaison between the holistic community and the public, supporting them through social media outreach, communications, and publicity. The Wellnest Roanoke has already begun connecting with the public by offering opportunities to connect online and in person. An informative YouTube channel provides background and education, while engaging Facebook group connects community members with the wisdom and experience of talented healers and teachers. Valarie furthers the Wellnest's mission of growing community sustainability through wellness by speaking to professional groups, offering investment opportunities for community builders, and hosting a weekly podcast available to the public at large. So welcome, Valarie.
Thank you so much. I'm excited to be here, Michelle.
Thank you for doing this. So you used to be a teacher and a school principal. How did you get involved in wellness and social media?
So my initial introduction to the wellness field or holistic integrative medicine was came about with my son, who was having some ear infections and just some typical childhood issues. And all the traditional conventional things we were doing weren't working. And a friend of mine turned me on to the holistic approach to solving these problems naturally using, in his case, it was essential oils that were the answer to solve his problem. So that's kind of how I got into the holistic world. That was my introduction. And I just fell in love with this wealth of knowledge and people that I was meeting. And over the past, I guess, decade, he's 10 now, he'll be 11 this year. I've just met an abundance of people who have so much to offer. And what I found was that very often they were operating in silos and they were separate from one another. So a group of us here in Roanoke has just come together, and we are providing platforms to help educate the public and bring this holistic community together so that more people can be helped, really.
That's awesome. And how's your son doing now?
He's doing great. It was actually, that was what was so mind-blowing to me, was after years of antibiotics and treatments and all kinds of different things that weren't working, that I trusted in, it was one protocol, one round of essential oils, and he never had another ear infection to this day.
Wow.
9 years later, never had another problem with his ears at all. Wow. So that was what was my aha moment, like there's a whole world out there I didn't even know about until now.
That's awesome. Well, I'm glad he's doing better. Yeah. And how did you get involved with the social media aspect of this?
Well, once I got curious about the oils and then other components, I became a certified holistic life coach, and I began marketing my support and help through just my private, or well, it was a public business page several years ago. And so I began kind of learning the tools of social media marketing and how to use that to get the message out, and kind of dabbled in that for several years. But it really wasn't until this past couple of years where my partner Jonathan and I just became passionate and came together and solidified this vision, I guess, to see the holistic community grow. That I really began to apply all of those things I had been picking up here and there, and become consistent and persistent, and create a solid plan for how to go about getting the messages out.
What's your favorite platform?
My favorite platform is by far Facebook, just because I think generationally it's right where I fit in. Mm-hmm. And I like the many aspects that we can utilize, from your personal profile to your business page to your groups to the stories and all the integrations that they make. None of them are perfect, but
yeah, that's true.
That's the most comfortable place for me. I do try to dabble in all the other areas, as many as I can handle. That's my comfort zone.
Oh, cool. So why do you think the professional wellness area needed more of a voice?
So the holistic world kind of operates in a very often spiritual and often very natural, from nature, from the earth kind of approach. And generally, it's been my experience here in Roanoke that most of our practitioners are very soul-centered and kind of inward focused. They make sure that they're well before they go out and try to help other people be well. So you can't pour from an empty cup, right? Mm-hmm. So they're very focused on that. And so technology, marketing, advertisement, networking, that is very often not their forte. It's a weakness for many of the people that I'm associated with in the holistic world. And so I've never felt that I was the expert in any one certain kind of modality, any illness modality. I've never felt called myself to become, a certified aromatherapist or a Reiki master or a masseuse or an acupuncturist or a chiropractor. But what I have found is that those skills in networking and marketing and social media, those are easy for me, and those are comfortable for me. So I'm able to be the liaison for these providers who really don't have an interest in or find it difficult to manage social media. I can be that liaison between them and the public to get their message out.
That's great. I think social media is, so obviously I deal with social media on a daily basis. And I think it's so important for people that you're going to be working with, especially when it comes to your spirituality, your body and all of that, to have that know, like, and trust. And I think right now, especially with COVID, that's the only way to gain that know, like, and trust.
Yeah, I'm a silver linings person. I always find the silver lining in a situation. And that's what I've found with this is how fortunate are we to have the technology that we have at this time to get us through this bump and to help get these messages out. And the messages that these holistic providers have, they're exactly the message and the information that the public needs right now. So it's hugely important for them to have this avenue, social media, to relay their message when otherwise they would be isolated away from their clients.
Yeah, I agree. So what's the most common issue you see when it comes to your social media clients?
Really, it's the foundational stuff. It's just the basic things. It's helping them to understand how to set up the most basic aspect of their social media, being present, being visible, creating relationships with their clients, And that is really kind of surprisingly to me. You might think it would be, in my aspect, highly technical things, but it's not. It's really just helping them get going on those basic steps. And then I'm the crutch. We provide, we'll post for them, and we'll promote them on their behalf to help get them going. But to me, it's kind of like training wheels. I want to enable them to be able to do it on their own, yes, or to at least have the language and the communication in social media to be able to work with a specialist and know what to ask for. Say, I need you to do this, this, and this for me. Mm-hmm. Because often when I first meet somebody, they don't even know where to begin. They don't even, they don't know business page, group, profile.
Same here, yeah. Well, they're not brought. I work with the older generation. I'm not sure what, target market you work with, but they weren't brought up with all of this technology and knowing how to use it and all of that. So I feel that, yeah, I start with at the very beginning with them, and they don't know the difference between, oh, I have a Facebook profile. Well, that's good, but you need a page, and they don't know the difference.
Yeah. Yeah, and it just takes time, and it takes practice, and it's ever changing.
Oh, yes, it is. I mean, yes, it is.
The new things that are coming out, and it's kind of like, oh, hey guys, now you've got to do this, and what's the story?
Yeah. Exactly. So how's your online community empowered you to see the vision and just do what you love?
I'm compassionate, and that's really what brought Jonathan and I together, is that we're both incredibly compassionate, and that's where this vision comes from, is wanting to serve others. And by empowering these holistic providers, we can serve the entire community. And our hope is that we create this model that then other localities can follow, so everyone can have a wellness. But the online community, because this sort of unfolded for us as COVID was unfolding, we just got our start right before COVID did. So it kind of forced us to rely on online, to rely on social media and that community during the phase where no one was going anywhere, and everyone was mostly laid off or assigned to work at home or whatnot. And without that, we wouldn't have the network that we have today. I miss the personal interaction. Mm-hmm. I really enjoy going to all the, Lions Club and Kiwanis Club and all the meetings and talking to the people and being a part of chambers and things like that. But this has given us that outlet to have those groups and be a part of those kinds of things that we, had we not had the social media when this started, we would be at a standstill. We just wouldn't have the community that we have at all.
Yeah, exactly. I think, again, I'm like you, I miss that person to person. I used to go out and network and speak and do, engagements and conferences and all of that. And I do miss all of that. And I think that's why I started all of these interviews, because it's just so important to hear what other people are going through. So in September, I'm doing how COVID has affected women in business. And so how has COVID really affected your clients? Are they still seeing the great potential that social media has to get their message out there?
Yeah, they're getting there. I'm coaching them along, and the way I've done that, because there are some of us who do meet in person, but a great many still don't want to meet in person yet, and we use groups to do that. So we have a group and on Facebook of holistic providers where I share coaching and marketing and updates on the physical business. And it's kind of been like a rusty wheel getting it going, but now that we're getting there, that group feeds into the community group, the public group, or the wellness, where they will then all serve these clients. And they're starting to make traction. They're starting to really understand what it means to be engaged in the group and build relationships, not to go into a group and try to sell a product or sell a package, but to get to know the community and form relationships with future clients, or even clients that they can engage now online. So it has, I think, opened everyone's eyes to the potential, and even doing work online. Some of our providers, especially the spiritual ones who do, spiritual work, emotional work, kind of mindset type stuff, they have been very creative in learning how to bring their service online and do their work online. And so I think before COVID, silver lining, before COVID, that is something that many of them would not have even considered doing. Like, I'm not doing it online. I do in person. And they have branched out. And I think that is great for everyone's confidence and understanding their ability to reach more people.
Yeah, I think it's very important right now that people adapt to the new normal, if there is such a thing. But I think it's really important that people adapt to that, because I see this going on for a while. I don't know. But, there is a silver lining. I wanted more family time and I got it. So there was that silver lining, but I wanted to do more of this stuff and meet new people. Like, you and I never knew each other until today. So I think this has been, a really great opportunity for people to meet, new people, grow their network, get out there in front of people that they wouldn't have thought that they'd be in front of. What's your favorite thing about social media?
I think you just nailed it. I think my favorite thing is reaching out and getting to know people you never would have gotten to know before, or stay connected with people that you can't otherwise, friends overseas or across the country. And my guilty pleasure on social media is, I feel like you can create your own little utopia, right? Mm-hmm. So like on Facebook or Instagram or wherever, you have the power to dictate what you see. And I love that. I love that I can unfollow or follow certain things and create a timeline or, a team, a group that I want to be a part of. And you can't do that in real life.
No, you can't. You can't just shut those people off when they're saying something you don't want to hear.
Yeah, they're there. You can't.
Yeah. Yeah. So let me ask, on the other aspect of it, what's your least favorite thing about social media?
Well, I do think that we need to limit our time on technology. I think there's enough research out there to show that the electronic effects and digital and all of the EMF and things like that can be harmful if we're not mindful of our time spent and how we recharge and rejuvenate. And I think it can be very easy to get distracted on social media. You go on to do one thing, you end up doing something totally different and totally forget why you're there. And it can be a real time suck, both during your workday and in the evening. Everyone's sitting on their social media. It's like, hey, let's do a board game or something together. So that is what I think is the drawback, is that it requires a certain amount of discipline and intentionality to create boundaries for yourself, so that you don't indulge or neglect to take care of yourself in all the other ways.
Yeah, exactly. I agree. I always find myself, I was on Facebook this morning and I'm just like, oh my God, what did I come here for? I was supposed to be doing something for a client. And I'm like, oh, wait, let's go back to that. So when you first meet with somebody, what's your process?
I just need to get a feel for their comfort level with technology in general. Some of our clients and providers they're web designers. Others, they just downloaded Facebook and they don't even hardly know how to use it other than liking and commenting. So initially, I just need to get a feel for their ability level, and then determine for that person how to kind of coach them to the next level. And sometimes I throw everyone in the fire. In June, I did you'll appreciate how crazy this is. I did a 20-person Facebook Live marathon, and I just kept bringing providers on in 30-minute increments for 2 days.
Wow.
And, I wanted to get them on camera. I wanted them to feel like they could jump in there and do it. And I said, look, it's going to mess up. Technology is going to lag. Facebook's going to kick us off. The Wi-Fi is going to go down. But just do it. I believe in moving forward and getting out there and doing it and falling on your face,
And with technology, that happens a lot.
But you learn from it and grow, and then you can move on. So sometimes we just do it, put our feet in the fire and go for it. And that's the way to develop the skill, or at least get rid of some of the fear around it.
Yeah. So, and I think everybody can deal with this, just not us with social media, because people can be very resistant to it. How do you deal with somebody who's very resistant to getting on social media or listening to your ideas about moving forward? How do you deal with somebody like that?
So far, I really haven't had anyone who wouldn't open their mind to some small step.
Good.
And maybe because my background is education, and I believe in a scaffolded learning, way of learning, one step at a time. Also, I was very passionate about early childhood. And so I understand people have to unfold at their own pace. So yeah, I'm probably maybe too patient sometimes, but I do try to just hold people's hands and get them to that next point. And everyone's here because they want to help people. They want to make an impact. They want to make a change. That's why they come to be a part of what we're doing. And so, we just try to communicate that part of doing that is learning these new skills and being a part of this movement, even if it has to be totally online for right now. So, and we just try to accommodate, so make it work in whatever way we can.
Well, you must be good at helping your son during the school time then, because you were a teacher and you must be able to, move him along as well. So how have you been dealing with COVID, and what have you been doing during this time?
Like everyone else, I have my ups and downs. I have my days of like, what in the world is happening? What are we doing? How is this going to work? How are we going to move forward? But most of the time, I'm able to keep a clear mindset. And I think one way that I'm able to do that is by making wellness a priority. So practice what you preach, right? So we are all about wellness. That's what our business is about, and that's what we're trying to bring to the community. So I really try to practice that. And I have a daily wellness practice that I follow. I just revised it because I had a birthday and I thought this is a good time to revisit and, put some new things in and shake it up a little bit. And I really try to stick to that. So if I can't get it done one day, I don't beat myself up over it. But then I really, really make that my number one priority the next day. And I try to do it every day because that's what fills my cup. That's what makes me feel good, body, mind, and spirit. And then I can go forward and do the work and remember why I'm doing the work and appreciate being in the moment of right here, right now, what's happening is happening for a reason. So I just try to appreciate it. And like you, I really, I kind of say, sorry, everyone, I manifested all of our kids being home. I always wanted to homeschool all my kids, and it's not really been a possibility. So
Oh, God bless you.
I kind of forced into it, and you joke that I made it happen, but I've enjoyed that. But again, working from home with a house full of people and animals and, you know, pets, it can be crazy sometimes. And I just try to remember, like, we're just all people. We're people, and things happen, and you know.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's very quiet in your house right now. My son is down in the basement watching TV, but yesterday he did come on and everybody was saying hi in the middle of an interview. I'm like, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Oh, so with and I've had some bad days during this time trying to stay motivated, but even before that, I always had my girlfriends or business women to go to. How do you stay motivated when it comes to moving past the struggles or just working on your business? What keeps you motivated? What keeps you going?
I do a lot of mindset work. You know, I think, why am I doing this? What is driving me to do this? And is it making me and my family happy? And uh, I have to be busy. You know, like I'm type A. I've always got to be busy, and I don't like cleaning. So just cleaning and cooking all the time is not going to work for me. Like I don't like cleaning. I do what I have to do, but I don't want to do that all the time. So I need projects and things like that. And I really love what I'm doing. I love the women and men that are part of what we're doing. I love how excited my partner Jonathan is about what we're building. I love that it's a good example for my kids to be adaptable and flexible and resilient. And what we're doing is a community effort. It's something for our community. And so that inspires all of us to, like, you know, we're not just doing it for ourselves, we're doing it to build a better community and to be a model for others to do the same thing. So we have a lot going for us in that way. And I do have a team of women. They're actually coming over this afternoon. We meet once a week, and we just kind of help each other, like mentally, like in their individual businesses, and then we work on the wellness and, you know, brainstorm. If we get stuck, we brainstorm new ideas and we work through things. And I think that really helps, having some peers that you can talk with, even if it's just one friend, but some people who know what you're going through, who can talk about the things with you and help you get through it. And it gives you something to look forward to. So still creating those accountability structures, but being very honest. You know, when I have those days where I'm like, what is this for?
Mm-hmm.
You know, I try to be honest, like at least with Jonathan and a couple of my friends, and just say, okay, what am I doing? Why am I doing this? Help me. I'm down here, and they remind me. And if I weren't willing to be honest and say it, I'd be feeling that all alone, and then I think that would make it harder. So, you know, finding some people that you can communicate with, I think is super, super important for everyone, but especially for business folks who are working from home and entrepreneurs right now.
Yeah, definitely. I agree. You need that core. And I had those core people before, and luckily I still have them. But yeah, it's so important because I've had some bad days during this time, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm going nuts. What am I doing? Why am I doing this? But then this has given me time to really focus on my business and work on my business, which has been really great. Have you found that you've been able to work more on your business during this time than you would have before?
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, I pretty much every day in the day was like, where did my day go? But I usually have like way more things on my list than I could ever get done. but that's because I love what I'm doing and I'm excited about it. And I can always think of new things. I want to, another person I want to call, another connection I want to make, another thing I want to incorporate into the business. And so it comes from a place of excitedness and hopefulness, and that's good. But I do, you know, just some of the basic things like commuting, you know, not having to commute back and forth to an office space, or my kids, I take them to school. They don't get on the bus here at the house. So that drive, which is about an hour round, I have 3 kids.
Wow.
So, you know, I pay that time every day. And we aren't going as much. We're home a lot. I don't fill my gas tank up nearly as often as I was before.
Yep.
And yeah, I think just being at home and having a little bit more structure, because you know, you're kind of forced to have some sort of structure to your day so that everything can happen when you're all home all day.
So with somebody who is new to social media, or not even new, I guess they have been on social media for a while, and they're having a hard time right now because they can't go out and network or whatever. Besides social media, there are other avenues to marketing your business, but I think online is the very most important part right now. What's one piece of advice you would give somebody on how to market themselves on social media?
First and foremost, I believe that social media is relationship based. Nobody goes on to social media to look for something to buy or to look for something, you know, they're not looking for people to sell to them, right? But when they find people they relate with, or they see something on there that resonates with them, then they'll want, you know, to become a part of that culture or group. And it ends up, you know, if you're selling something, if you're a business, you're selling something, your time, your product, your service, your expertise, they'll want to buy from you. So first and foremost, relationships, cultivating relationships is the most important thing. I think we all know that feeling of someone new approaching you, friending you or whatever, and then immediately trying to sell you a product. And it's kind of like, can we at least say hi first?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So cultivating relationships is number one. And then the second thing would be consistent visibility, you know, because you can't build those relationships. You can't get to know one another if you're not showing up. So, you know, engaging on other people's content, giving feedback, offering support, bringing value, being a part of groups that you resonate with, and providing support and value to those people in those groups, and, you know, legitimately making friends. Some of my best friends now have come from being online, and business partners. And so yeah, just to not neglect the value of building relationships and being consistently visible and bringing value.
So I don't know if you agree, but I think each social media platform has its own audience, its own target market. And if you're not sure who your target market is, which platform do you think people should start with?
I think you should start with what you're most comfortable with and get your feet wet, you know, get involved in it, develop a practice, and then reach out, you know, into trying other things. So like right now, my next attempt will be TikTok, and I have no idea what I'm going to do.
Oh, I tried that. No, I didn't like it.
But I have an 18-year-old, a 13-year-old, and a 10-year-old. So I have lots of advisors.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, so, you know, that's totally out of my comfort zone. But I know that a lot of our clients, a lot of our ideal clients, especially for the physical space, the brick and mortar that we're opening, a lot of them are on TikTok. And so we're really missing an audience if we don't create a platform there. And I know that. So It's not in my comfort zone. And I'm probably going to be really bad at it. Again, just go be bad at it. Go be bad at it and then get better at it. You know?
That's funny. Yeah, I got on there and I'm like, oh my God, what is this? I think for me, mine is LinkedIn, and I know that's where my clientele is. So if you're not sure, and I talked about this yesterday for a little bit on one of my Facebook Lives, how do you tell people to figure out who their target market is if they're not sure who it is?
To figure the target market, yeah.
Because I used to be that person that would say, oh, I could work with everybody until I really gave it some thought. And I'm sure there's other people out there that say that. So how do you help people figure that out?
Yeah. I think, and I had to learn this too. But I think one thing that's really important that I think is overlooked a lot, and there are some great coaches and stuff out there that point this out, but who do you want to work with? Who will you enjoy working with? Because if you can envision that avatar, that person that you can work with, that is the first big hurdle, because you can try to speak to everyone. And then if you draw in everyone, are you really going to enjoy working with all those people? I know women who just want to work with women and men who just want to work with men. And that's where they shine the brightest. That's where they're the best. And so I think that's a big part of the calculation is who are you going to deliver the best product or service to in your comfort area? And then, who needs what you're offering, who really needs it and is in that, that income range of what you're offering, because we know, right, if we're offering something to a group that cannot afford it or thinks they cannot afford it, you're not going to make very many sales. And if you're undervaluing or overvaluing what you're offering, that's not going to pan out either. So, knowing who can, who needs what you have and who can afford it, I think that, along with knowing who you will best serve, are three of the big factors that go into figuring out your target.
Yeah, I agree. So once COVID is gone, I don't know if that'll ever happen, but what do you see your next steps are for your business and growing your business and getting out there?
Yeah, so we've been delaying, we've been primarily doing online. We've been doing some social stuff we have a lot of restrictions in Virginia, so we have to operate really carefully because we don't want anyone to get sick, but we also don't want anyone to get in trouble.
Yeah.
Especially other businesses. But we are very excited to open our physical space. It's always been a dream to have a physical space where people can have that place to come home to, kind of like here, except for wellness, So we're excited about that. And we've really delayed that because, in essence, it is a gathering space. And there are just so many restrictions on that right now that won't allow it to be what we want it to be. So I'm really excited to create that space because I think that's going to amplify the messages that all these providers that we're working with are putting out there. And we truly hope to become a destination for wellness resources in not just Southwest Virginia, but our region of the U.S. and create this model for other areas to kind of follow. There's nothing exactly like what we're building, and I don't really worry about people copying it because I want people to copy it. Yeah. I want communities to be more well because I think that benefits our society as a whole, and so I want that. So yeah, we have short-term goals, long-term goals, and big visions for down the road, and I'm just excited to see it all unfold. I'm a little impatient.
Yes.
But
we all are at this point after 5 months of this. I think we're all a little impatient.
Yeah. So we're trying to make the best of what we have and do everything we can with the time we have, and be grateful for social media and technology for the time.
Yeah, I think I've never been on Zoom this much in my life. So what's one last message you can give people if they're, want to work on their wellness, want to work on their business, if they're struggling? What's one piece of advice you can give people right now, or women in particular?
Yeah, work on discipline. Work on discipline. And I think I was resistant to the word discipline for a long time, because when I thought of discipline, my father was in the military and then he was a police officer. And so when I thought of discipline, I thought of constriction and inflexibility and not a lot of choice and things like that. And so I had to come to terms with discipline as being what I needed it to be, and to create the disciplines that I needed in my life. So do the mind work that you've got to do to get around that with the discipline. But then once you can do that, create a framework for your day, create some consistencies in your days, or at least your weeks, so that you're getting certain things done at certain times, including self-care. Because one thing I've learned is, if you aren't having that full cup for yourself, if you're trying to operate from this empty cup all the time, you're really not serving anybody and you're hurting yourself. So fill that cup up and remember that if you feel good, if you know you're tending to your wellness, you're healthy, you're strong, your mental game is strong, you're going to be so much more powerful in your business, and you're going to be so much more effective and courageous in your business. So really get disciplined in what you want to achieve every day. Don't be hard on yourself. Forgive yourself and move on when it doesn't go the way you want it to. But yeah, take care of yourself, discipline and self-care, priorities, and the time you spend with your family and what you do in that realm at home. And then discipline in your business and show up, be consistent. Get out there. Don't be afraid.
Yeah, that's important. I don't do a lot of self-care, and I'm trying to do better with that. Because you're right. If you don't feel good, you're not going to want to do anything and put your whole heart into anything. So how can people get in touch with you?
So go to our website, thewellnessroanoke.com, and it's wellnest, like a bird nest, because we see it as connectedness, everyone coming together in connectedness. So thewellnessroanoke.com, all of our information is there. You can subscribe to our newsletter and find out what's going on with us and our providers. Or you can contact me directly if you have any questions. If you want to message me on Facebook, you can find our Facebook page there as well. So the website, thewellnessroanoke.com, is the easiest place to go to get all of that information.
Great. I'll make sure to share that as well. And if you guys watch this back in the Facebook group and have any questions for Valarie, make sure to share them, and I'm sure she will be happy to answer all of your questions. Thank you so much, Valarie, for doing this and for agreeing to do this. I forget how you and I got connected. FemCity, okay.
FemCity, which is a great way to connect with women and have a support group.
Yes, I love FemCity. I'm actually on one of their things at 1 o'clock. They have a class. We used to have a chapter here in Rochester, and I met so many great women who have become my friends now. And FemCity is a great organization. So thank you so much for doing this, and good luck with everything. And I hope you get to open your shop real soon.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Michelle. Have a great day.
You too. Bye-bye.